but still something hard has to be. If the moon comes out to compliment the stars, I'll be loving you. Yes, I will, baby. But still ticking and busy anytime. Nothing you can do to ever change my mind. Let this world come and let it cease away. See, I'll be loving you. But not the light of your way. I can make it
Hey everybody, it's Lloyd Spence, and listen, BetOnline remains the number one source for all your college basketball betting this season. Get analysis of every play, prop, and point at BetOnline. You'll find the latest odds, brackets, contests, team matchup, and game trends all at BetOnline. Updated odds for everything from live games, the conference championship, the national championship, right through the Final Four and the championship game. BetOnline is your college basketball headquarters this season. So head to the website today or use your mobile device to sign up and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Be sure to use the promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, to receive your bonus. Again, it's betonline.ag, and it's where the game starts. Tell them everybody over here with the noise makers.
Popcorn world. Popcorn world. Yeah. Can I make you move now? Yes, I can. So you can get this move in a bag of a can. You can make it round the world when the holes in your hand. Popcorn world. 250 flavors gonna make you smile. 250 flavors gonna make you smile. 250 flavors gonna make you smile. I said popcorn make you smile. Ah. Popcorn world. Popcorn world. Popcorn world. Popcorn world. The popcorn world.
You're now listening to the Brothers of the Five. At shooting guard, it's your boy, Killer Cam. At small forward, it's Reggie Love. At point guard, Steve Major. At power forward, I'll be. And at center, Mr. Noise, Lloyd Spence. And now, the Brothers of the Five. All right, we're trying some new tricks for now. I don't know if this is going to work. Let's see how it looks. We have to go back to our regular look. Let's see how this looks here. Well, that looks like a... Oh, I don't like that. I like that better. Okay. We're working on some stuff behind the scenes, trying to make it look prettier and all that stuff. But nevertheless, we're here. We're back. We're live. That's C Major right there. That's Reggie Love right there. I'm your man, Lloyd Spence. This is the Five. We are back here this week, and we are glad to be back because, man, these last 2.5 weeks have been incredible, in my opinion.
Facts.
I mean, listen, for a basketball fan, this is your Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this is your Christmas.
Yeah.
And some of these games, they needed the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost. That's real talk right there. Crazy, son. It's crazy. So we got a lot to talk about as it relates to the NCAA. We got a lot to talk about with the NBA, NFL. But we want to give our first shout outs to the developing breaking news. Now, technically, this announcement has not been made, technically. However, it emerged last night as a Woj bomb, and you could pretty much take a Woj bomb to the bank and cash that check in advance, and they'll give you the money and put it in your account. So the developing breaking news is that this year's Hall of Fame has been announced, and what a class it is. Ladies and gentlemen, the following people are going to go into the 2023 class, a Hall of Fame class. That would be Dwayne Wade, Dirk Nowitzki, Pau Gasol, Tony Parker, Becky Hammonds, and Coach Greg Popovich. That's a hell of a class right there, fellas.
Yeah, it is. It is, man.
That is a hell of a class right there, man. Christina, we got you covered, girl. We gonna get into your Hawkeyes. We definitely gonna get into your Hawkeyes in a minute. But yeah, man, that's a hell of a class, bro. I want to say 4 of those are first time or 3 of those are first time ballots. Dwayne and Dirk and Powell, right?
Wow.
Think so.
I think those are first timers, and I think everybody else maybe has had to come on the back end. One name that is curiously not on the list for me. Oh no, that's not true. Okay, he did make it. That was okay. So everybody that I thought would make it made it. Okay,
right.
So that's good. That's good. Everybody I thought of that. Y'all got any problems with this class?
I have no problems at all with this class because most hey, half the class is Spurs, so I ain't got no problem with it.
All of San Antonio will be at the Basketball Hall of Fame.
Exactly.
That is basically all a predominantly Spurs class, isn't it?
Yeah.
Tony, Becky, and Greg.
Yeah.
Wow, how'd y'all do that?
Hey man, if I told y'all, it would be a secret.
Okay, fair enough. That's fair.
Reggie paid him off. Reggie paid him off. That's
Listen,
I had some information on a couple of Hall of Fame writers, and I threatened to leak it on them. They said, I said, hey, this is what you got to put these people in.
They got them in, man. This is a good class, man. I think like I said, everybody on this class very well deserving. You can't say enough about any of them.
Right. Dwayne Wade and Dirk just connected at the hip at this point.
But if you think about it, they are connected at the hip. Like their careers basically paralleled each other.
Exactly.
And they have championships because of each other.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably the best way to put them in.
Right.
No problem there. So that's what's up. All right. Well, gentlemen, let's jump into question number 1. Where, listen, what a turn! Like I said at the beginning of the show, what are your overall thoughts before we get into some of the specifics of what is taking place? What are your overall thoughts of the tournament this year, men and women? Has it been good or bad for college basketball? And the overall question is: the transfer portal working or causing problems?
Well, I feel like on the men's side, the people that you thought were going to be in there are not in there. So that is definitely something different that I wasn't expecting, because a lot of times you can go chalk and sometimes you'll have a 2 seed or 1 seed or something like that, but you got 5 seeds and 4 seeds, so it's kind of something that getting used to and just trying to figure out, because all these 4 teams have a shot at winning, so that's definitely you don't have a clear-cut favorite at this point. But I think they've been pretty good. A lot of upsets and a lot of just down to the wire play, and it's been pretty exciting on my end.
Last year's Final Four, all blue blood: Villanova, Kansas, North Carolina, Duke. This year's Final Four, not a blue blood to be found.
Yeah.
Is that good for college basketball, Reggie, or bad?
I think it's good. I think it's good because it's pretty much like you say in football or NFL, any given Sunday. And, I think it all kind of, when you talk about the transfer portal and you talk about the tournament, I think it all kind of works hand in hand in one aspect of it, because in let's throw the COVID year in there as well. Because now you have upperclassmen, you have juniors, seniors, 5th-year players, that are playing in this tournament right now, in which, and those 5th-year players or older players are playing with mid-level schools.
Right.
And if they're, hey, I didn't get a chance to play at the blue blood school, let me transfer here to Florida Atlantic, or let me look at this other way, is sometimes the kids that are staying longer, who are staying to their juniors and seniors and They're getting stronger. They're getting better. Now you got juniors and seniors playing against blue blood freshmen because they went and got all freshmen. And
Right.
you're seeing the parallel. That's not working anymore. And now also that you got to put this in one and also involved in it is coaches are recruiting out of the transfer portal. So you're getting seasoned players from the portal. You're getting those juniors and seniors and grad seniors or grad transfers. You getting all the mix of these players, and it's evening up the playing field. So if you think you're gonna go get 5 McDonald's All-American and gonna win the tournament against 5 juniors and seniors, good luck with that.
Right.
Facts. Yeah.
I think what you're seeing is the perfect emergence of a storm that's been brewing for years.
Exactly.
And what has happened is the watering down of the quality of AAU has finally collided with the emergence of the transfer portal.
Exactly.
And just like you said, Reggie, now the balance of power is there. Right. So now you can, like you said, go get some guys who understand, and you're going to see, I think, more balanced teams than you've ever seen before. It's going to be a mix of the transfer, the returning, and the freshmen every year on what I would consider the Final Four teams. Those winning teams, you're going to be able. That's going to be the common thread because I think that's the formula to win now. You got your return guys that can set the culture of your squad of your team. You've got your freshmen that, and maybe 1 or 2 are dynamic and can make enough contribution. But then you've got your plug and play guys to fill in the hole, and that's the formula. Right. That is the formula. I think that's the formula we've seen even in last year's blue blood run. That still was the formula. We still saw transfer guys combined with returning guys combined with guys. Listen, Caleb Love has literally been in college for 15 years.
And he still got 1 more year.
And he's transferring out of North Carolina. So I'm saying, follow that, by the way, because that's going to be significant. Because if you think Caleb Love plugging into some program with all of the experience that he's had is not going to be significant, you're crazy. There's no player that he's going to play against that he's going to be intimidated by.
I want to add on why you said that. Don't forget, we still have players benefiting from the COVID year, and that's probably going to happen for another 2 years, if I'm not mistaken.
I agree. Yeah.
You got 2 more years of that extra COVID year that players are going to benefit from.
So I think you're just seeing a convergence of a lot of things happening at the same time, and it's making for a quality. First of all, let me just say this: the men and women's tournament is pretty flawless anyway. It's almost impossible for this tournament to fail,
right?
Because it sets up so beautifully. I mean, guys, we just saw. Well, I'll get to this question, Charles. Go jump ahead, but we just saw some of the most amazing, unbelievable basketball that we've ever seen. Not to say that the quality is high, but the drama is high. The drama of the tournament is undeniable, and you can't beat it. So I just think it's always going to be good.
I got a question for you, Lloyd, since you're an ACC guy.
I am an ACC guy.
Miami, did you see this? Did you see this could happen?
That's more of a question, 2 questions. So I'm going to hold off on answering it. But I'm going to answer it because that's a good question. That's a real good question. All the way around, that's a good question. So I'm gonna hold off 1 question, but I'm gonna finish up my part with this. I don't think this is the best part of the transfer portal when it affects the tournament. I don't know if the transfer portal is flawless, because I don't think it is. But this outcome is good for college basketball.
I agree.
Right, and then you say the bad. I mean, if we got a bad of the transfer portal, and this goes for not only men's, women, and football as well. If the bad is giving a lot of players easy way out. That's the one thing we don't like about the portal.
Right, absolutely.
Sometimes it gives kids an easy way out instead of fighting through some adversity at times.
Right.
So that's a whole different program. We'll talk about that on a later note.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I do. Just to touch the women's side real quick, I think you're even seeing the transfer portal now affect the women's side.
Oh yeah.
Because some of the teams that made it in to the final game this year, I think were as a result of some good transfer portal stuff. And I'm not saying the Final Four per se, but like the final 8.
Right.
That was a lot of transfer stuff. I can speak for Louisville. Louisville would not have gotten there had they not had a great transfer portal recruiting, if you will. And they got significant contribution from the mix of transfer and freshmen. That same formula we just been talking about.
And then when you say that for the women in the LSU as well, correct?
LSU the same thing, yeah,
Right.
same thing. It's a good mix, and I think you're going to see more of it spill into college women's basketball as well. And I don't think you're going to see because 2 number ones. Well, we'll get to that in a minute. Right. But we saw it affect women's basketball. So I guess let's go there now to question 2 because we Chad asked, was the Miami thing shocking? And that leads us to the question: what has shocked you the most in this year's NCAA tournament on the men and women's side? I don't know if it shocked me the most, Chad, to answer your question, but it definitely shocked me because I watched Miami all season long on both sides, men and women, and I did not see this coming. I saw the talent. The talent is obviously there, and they definitely have the experience on both sides, men and women. But I did not think, if you'd have asked me, well, you can look at my bracket. I didn't have Miami making no run to the Final Four, the men's side, and I certainly didn't have the women making a Final Four or Elite 8 run. So no, I did not see that coming. So that's definitely one of the most shocking things I saw in the tournament.
Yeah.
I would go to Florida Atlantic. There's no if one person can tell me that Florida Atlantic was going to be in the Final Four, that's a lie. I don't even care if you went to Florida Atlantic. I
was sitting there thinking, I'm not even sure the people at Florida Atlantic thought they were going to be in the Final Four.
Exactly. Yeah. And even for San Diego State, well, pretty much the 4 that's in there now, anybody, there's no way that anybody pick any one of those 4 to be in the Final Four right now.
Right.
I must say about San Diego State, I'm gonna give credit. Whoever their trainer, their strength and conditioning trainer,
he's the MVP.
He's the MVP. Have you seen those guys' shoulders? Have you seen their shoulders?
He's the real MVP.
They're the MVP. He's the MVP.
They are massive. They are a massive team.
Yeah,
I think they do both. They play lacrosse, basketball, and football.
Yeah, I mean, if you tell me you have a Final Four and Houston or Alabama is not in it, that's very shocking. Because
I'd be very shocked. I can believe. Well, I'll say this, Chad. I can believe that you have a Final Four with Houston and Alabama not in it. I don't believe you have a Final Four that had these teams in it. Yeah. Like maybe you had UConn, maybe, but it's. I looked on some of the numbers. And matter of fact, you talk amongst yourself. I'll show you the numbers. Matter of fact, of the predictions of what people thought was going to happen.
When I saw UConn play Arkansas, and man, they're one of the most disciplined teams in the tournament.
Yeah, they don't make mistakes.
When I say they're disciplined on both ends of the ball, they run their sets, they move, they set solid screens. They're on the defensive side, they're moving their feet, their help side. When they get an opportunity to run, they take it. If they're not able to run, they just run their offense. I mean, I must say that UConn really impressed me. I don't know if this is just they're getting hot at the right time or not. I haven't watched much UConn this year.
I think it could be a lot of those things. I think it could be a combination of a lot of those things. They're getting hot at the right time. So I don't know if you guys can see this, but 5.2% of the brackets had UConn in. 5.2 out of 20 million, 30 million. So that tells you not a lot of people believed in UConn.
That's Molly Karam and UConn alone.
All right, people that are UConn alums, that's who had it. As far as Miami, 1.2% had Miami in.
Oh man,
0.8% had San Diego State in,
and 0.3.
And 0.3 had FAU. So not a lot of people believing in the Final Four teams this year, and rightfully so. It just there was no way to put that combination together. Having seen those teams, I just don't know how you would have come up with that combination. So Now on the women's side, it's a little different.
Right.
Yeah.
Because everybody has South Carolina and still does.
Still
Right.
does.
After watching Iowa, I totally understand why you had Iowa in the.
Yeah, Caitlin Clark is bad, man. She bad.
Let me. You know what the question was and is, and I want to make sure I read it. What has shocked you the most in this year's tournament on the men and women's side? I'm gonna tell you something. On the women's side, it is the play of Caitlin Clark. I had seen highlights, and I'm like, oh man, she's a decent player. I didn't see anything special about her in the highlights though. She's making shots and whatever.
Yeah.
But when you watch the game, like from start to finish, my God, she's one of the best offensive players. And by the way, shout out to her because she just won Player of the Year, Naismith Player of the Year this year.
Wow.
And rightfully so. That is, I'll say this: I watch. I don't know about you guys, but I watch a lot of women's college basketball, and I got into it when I started covering University of Louisville 10 years ago. I started watching it because I enjoyed the game, the women's game. To this date, or till Sunday, I always thought Breanna Stewart was the coldest women's player I'd ever seen live. Like
right.
I'd never seen anybody that skilled play college women's basketball until I saw Caitlin Clark this weekend.
Yeah.
And Reggie, you know this as well as I do. Some of those passes, let's forget the shooting. She can shoot. That's all. Some of those cross-court passes.
Oh, yeah.
Where she's dropping it right in the shooter's breadbasket where all they got to do is shoot.
Right.
Bruh, that's hard to do when you don't have nobody on you.
Right.
That's hard to do to just turn and make a decent chest pass.
Right.
She's whipping, man. That's one of the coldest players I've seen in a long time, bro.
And, and I know this might be a little selfish of me when I say this.
Mm-hmm.
I wish the South Carolina Iowa was the championship game.
No, that's not selfish. I'm gonna tell you, Reggie, I'm baffled. It wasn't until the other night that I realized, or yesterday, that I realized they were on the same side of the bracket. I said, "Who did that?
Right.
How would you do that? Why would you do that? They blew that one." Because I would tell you something. Had that been the championship game, that would be the highest rated championship game in women's college basketball history. And it's not, it wouldn't even be close. Now it's going to be the highest rated semifinal game.
Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly.
Listen, if you want to know where I'm going to be Friday night, I'm going to be in front of my TV watching that game because that's going to be a great game.
It's going to be good.
Oh, it's the late game too. It's the 8 o'clock
and
game.
It's the late game too. It's the closeout game too.
Yeah.
So
that was definitely a shocker.
Oh man. I'll tell you the other shocker too, man. Seeing a 16 beat a 1 again.
Oh yeah.
I mean, come on.
Hey guys, do y'all realize there's not a 1, 2, or 3 in the Final Four?
Correct.
Let's think about that. There's not a 1, 2, or 3 in the Final Four.
In the Final Four, in the men's Final Four. That's crazy, man.
Now I got a question though. Would y'all would have called that foul at the end of the FAU game?
Great question.
I mean, can I
go ahead? As a referee and as a player, Reggie.
Yeah.
As a referee, it's a judgment call. There's not a question, was it a foul? It was a foul.
It was a foul.
It was a foul. There's not, and it's just a judgment call. I mean, if I can't, Chad, if you're that referee and you don't make that call, I can't get mad at you unless I'm FAU.
Yeah.
If to me, it's just a judgment at the time because you can see it. And let's give credit to the FAU player. He sold it. But anybody who played basketball know if you get bumped somewhat in the air, it throws you off. So Lord, we can't.
Listen, I've used that move, the little jab to the stomach or a little nudge, a little slight nudge that hopefully the referee don't see it. I've used that move.
Yeah.
And if you and I told Lloyd this earlier, I said he was actually fouled on the dribble to the basket. He was. And if you go back and watch that play, he's riding him the whole way. But as a player or as a fan, I don't know if I would want to have made that call unless I was on the offense, if I'm on the defense, you know, because you hate a game that's been played at that magnitude in a game that's you would love to say, let's settle this thing in overtime.
Yeah.
You know, so I just think it's a judgment call. I can't get mad if that call go either way. If we're going by the law, it was a foul.
My only problem with the call, and I agree, shout out to Seth Greenberg from ESPN, and Charles Barkley. I heard Charles Barkley say it as well, and I agree 100%.
Right.
If the whole game is called that way,
Right.
that tight, I'm good with it. Because
Right.
we already know we can't do it because that means my coach has already told me, hey man, no contact fouls. You can't, don't put your hands on them. You just got to get a hand in their face and play it because that's the way I would have played it.
Right.
As a defender, I'm going off of I'm playing the entire game based on the way that you allow me to play. And you know that, Reggie.
Right.
So if you're allowing me to be physical, great. I can be physical. I can take a little bit more risk than I normally would take because you're saying we're going to give y'all that platitude.
Right.
But don't give me that platitude for 38, 39 minutes and 45 seconds, and then in the last 15 seconds, all of a sudden, it's a foul.
Right.
That's where I have a problem with it because I wouldn't have played it that way. The only reason I even put my hand on the dude is because you hadn't called it all game. I probably put my hands on the dude, guarding him the entire game.
Right.
So that's why I have a problem with it.
Right.
I'm basing my strategy on what you've allowed.
Right. And I'm gonna be devil advocate just a little bit on that. And in the referee standpoint is if you got 3 referees, and we've all been here before, baseline referee, one of the other side referees may be calling the game a different way, a little tighter than a referee on the other end.
Right.
And let's say, for example, the whole game, it may have been the action may have been on the other two who's not calling it is tight. Or that other referee who called it may be calling it a little bit tighter. That's why I said it's totally.
But don't y'all have to get on one accord? Well, shouldn't y'all get on one accord? How y'all gonna call the game? No?
It really depends.
Yeah, sometimes it happens, sometimes it don't. It just depends.
Sometimes it happens, sometimes it don't.
Yeah, it
I agree 100%, Lord. You know, and you've seen that. You've seen that we've all played that game when that baseline official may be calling it loose, and the two up top may be calling it just tight as can be.
Yeah,
you know, and then or that waistline let them play go, and the other one gonna call it. And even though they're and most of the time, I don't want to knock officials. Most of the time they are all on the court, but every now and then it just, like I said, it is a judgment call 100%. Would I like to see that game go to overtime? Yes, I would have. Let them play.
But is it the right call? Yes. I can't. Nobody can argue that it was the right call.
Right.
He fouled it. He definitely fouled it. But it's just a sucky way to lose a game. Right. It's a sucky way to decide a great game.
Right.
So that's the part that I think everybody has a problem with. I just wish I'm looking for consistency. Every coach is looking for consistency because he's going to coach based on that. And so, you know, and then you can make a case at the end of the game with the final play with him throwing the ball out of bounds.
Yeah.
We calling the other one. Why not call that one? That's a foul too.
But you notice there was a different referee there too.
Different referee. So I think everybody was so upset at the first referee that the other guy was like, "Man, I ain't blowing that whistle down."
Yeah. And let's be honest. Let's give credit to the FAU player. He sold that call.
He sold it.
Because if you look, once he had that hand on his hip, sorry guys. Okay, get back. Sorry. Once he had that hand on the hip, he failed. I mean,
That's what he's supposed to do.
He played it perfectly. So I can't be mad at the kid for doing what he's supposed to do. I even can't be mad at the referee for calling it. I'm just mad that it got called.
Right.
Yeah. So, there were so many shocking moments. Chad, what was yours? That was,
I mean,
or was it that call? Was that the most shocking for you?
I mean, the game was good. It's just that, you know, that call and a couple other things, but yeah, I mean, I didn't see FAU going, so yeah, that was a lot of shock. And then, you know, Houston losing and then Alabama losing, those, you know, were my shocking moments. I didn't see those teams actually losing at this point.
I'll tell you one of the things that's got people in an uproar, if you want to talk about that, and more specifically, people from the state that I'm from, people are very pissed off at John Calipari. The bloom is for sure off the roads. They are saying, hey, man, you keep getting number one recruiting class or top 5, top 10 recruiting classes every year, and you can't get past the second round. What is the problem? And I'm going to be honest with you. I have very mixed emotions about that. Because on one hand, I think they're right. But on the other hand, I go, well, yeah, but he's got y'all relevant every year. He's giving you a chance every year. Right. So what do you want? Do you want a chance to compete every year? Or do you want a guy who can seemingly, because here's what's interesting about it. Calipari's been there longer. They've given him more money. They fired Tubby because of what he was doing, and they got exactly the same amount of championships.
Now, is Kentucky going with the transfer portal formula and the experienced players?
Everybody's doing everything now. Yeah, they don't have no choice. They got to do it. They got to do some of it. They don't. Go ahead.
No, and to go back to what you were saying, Calipari has always recruited these 5-star freshmen, and he's only keeping them 1 year. Anybody realize that to be a great, dominant college team, even before the transfer portal, you're going to need some sophomores and juniors. You're going to need somebody to learn the program. They're one and done, and so it's just in and out. It's like herding cattle, in and out, in and out, in and out. How can you get a team that you can sustain with several championships with that formula?
Reggie, you are preaching the gospel of college basketball, because here's the reality, and this is the thing that is not being mentioned in these conversations at all. The easy, quick fix of all of what Kentucky is going through is stop running these boys out of the building.
Exactly.
Just let them stay another year. Build some continuity and if he lets 1 or 2 of those classes or 3 of those classes just stay longer than a year. I need you to understand who he's had come through there in the last 10 years. Julius Randle, Anthony Davis. Now, he got a title with Anthony Davis, but Julius Randle, Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, De'Aaron Fox, Bam Adebayo, Tyler Hero.
From Sacramento, just left the Lakers. Oh, the guard.
Oh. Yes. What is his name?
Arkansas.
Right. Gosh. I know his name. I can see his face.
Yeah. Gosh.
But yes, you're right. That's another. Yeah, I put it like this. There's no less. There's no less than 15 to 20 NBA quality.
Kyrie. No, not Kyrie.
No, Kyrie. Yeah, Kyrie with the Duke. Yeah. No. There's no less than 15 to 20 players that have come through Kentucky in the last 10 years that you should have more than one championship.
Right.
If you let them stay more than 1 year, Malik Monk. Now, here's the irony of what he's saying. Yeah, but they didn't want to stay. They wanted to go on. I think some of those guys would have done whatever you recommended for them to do.
Mm-hmm.
But you had to push them out because you had the next class coming in.
Because that's the system you created.
It's a factory. It's nothing but a factory.
And so it sucks, man. It really sucks that has happened, and that's the reality of their circumstances. But that is the reality of their circumstances, and they don't have a lot to show for it. So, that is what it is at this point. But he's caught a lot of heat, and the fan base is in arms, and they're like, stone him and get him out of here and all that stuff.
Well, so looking at last night, he's got some recruits coming in that are pretty good.
But he always has. But see, that's it. He always has,
and they're freshmen.
Yeah, they gonna always. He gonna always have recruits coming in. That's never not gonna be the narrative. The problem is what you just said, Reggie. They're freshmen. They don't know the system. They don't understand how to play college basketball. They got to learn. So he'll spend again the next 2 to 3 months, or the first 2 to 3 months, October, November, December, trying to teach them how college basketball works, and then trying to ramp them up in January and February for a run in March, and probably going to end up with the same result.
So if he has the name, he has the program, the notoriety. Why can't he go in and pluck the transfer portal and do it that way?
He's done it all. He's done all of that. He has done every single bit of what you're talking about. That the problem is, okay, let me just say this. This is just my humble opinion. Number one, I'm not as big a believer that he's as great a coach as he is advertised to be, in my humble opinion. That's just my opinion.
He's a great recruiter.
He's a great recruiter, and he's a great motivator. He's a phenomenal motivator. And I think when he has the talent, his kids rise to the occasion. But you try to tell me I need you to understand. Here's what all you need to know about his coaching, in my humble opinion, and even his evaluation as a talent person. Early in the time that he was there, Devin Booker was coming off the bench. He wasn't starting. He was coming off the bench. Yeah. So, I don't believe, but I get it. I get what it is, and I don't know. At what point does the fan base rebel and be like, "Look, man, we sick of this"? Because they've yet to boo. I haven't heard them boo yet.
Right.
But they were livid. They were a little more livid this time around than I've ever seen. So I'm saying, okay, well, maybe they truly have grown tired of the whole experiment. So we'll see how it goes. Okay. So those are my shockers. Question 3 is interesting to me. Guys, who's going to emerge from this weekend as the NCAA national champion on the men and women's side?
UConn and South Carolina.
Wow, you said that with your chest. Wow.
I said a lot of things with my chest during the tournament, and you see my breath. I can say all I want with a chest, but
right.
I'm just throwing my team out. The two, not my team, but the two teams out there that
I'm going to say something. When this tournament, I'm going to start with the women's side. When the women's tournament started, I was sure. I said, it's South Carolina and nobody else. And I still majority percentage feel that way. I just find it very difficult that one girl has the capability to beat a team. However,
yeah, but they're gonna throw every player and their mama at her.
That's what I told Lloyd the other day when I was like, they got to throw a double team or something.
I don't think they do. I think that would be the worst mistake you can make is try to throw a double team. I think you got to play her straight up. If she get 35, she get 35. Right. But we're gonna beat y'all 75-35.
What I mean by throwing every player at, I mean they're gonna throw their people off the bench is gonna go hard at her. They're gonna come at and I think Dawn is the reason why, because I think she's a great motivator and she's a great coach. Yeah. So I understand. In order for Iowa to win, their Iowa players gonna have to step up because those role players gonna have to step up
I have failed because Dawn has so many great athletes. I just don't see the path that allows. Because here's the reality of Iowa, and this is no shade. I'm not trying to shade them. I'm just speaking on the reality of their team. They are not athletic. They are not fast, and they're fundamentally sound at the level that they're fundamentally sound. But man, if you lift Caitlin Clark off this team, I'm not sure this team wins 20 games. Right. Like they're just not. They don't have a lot of things beyond her. Right. Now you can make a case for the big girl, number 25, Monique, I think is her name, Cesarno or something like that. I think is her name. But the stat that shocked me of all the things you want to talk about shocks in the game, they said she was shooting 70%, and she had only had one dribble in the whole tournament. Well, they said that like that was this great thing. But as post players, we know that means you're not skilled.
Right.
That means you just catching the ball and trying to turn and just shoot.
You just turn and shoot. You ain't
Right.
one
So
dribble.
you're bigger than everybody else, and that's fine. But that's not a skill. Being bigger than somebody is not a skill.
Yeah.
Right.
So I don't think she's gonna get that luxury against Aaliyah Boston and the other big girl they got on their team, the 6'7" girl. I can't remember her name, but I just don't think she's gonna get that luxury. So if she can't, if they can't get an inside presence, and Caitlin is the only really scoring threat, well, how long can she keep that up for 40 minutes?
And they're gonna be knocking her to the ground and roughing her up. I'm sure they're gonna be trying to.
I would assign 4 girls to her to take 20 fouls.
And it's gonna be work now.
Yeah, they're gonna be.
Now I wouldn't give her threes, but every time she even thought about putting the ball on the ground,
well, you know, she'll
dribble or drive.
She'll shoot about half court though. You better pick her up.
Yeah. Now, my thing on this, I think LSU has a shot with South Carolina because they have size, which I mean, ultimately South Carolina's gonna. I think they're gonna win, but I think they have a shot. I'm just saying.
Did you see that last LSU South Carolina game?
I did. I saw it.
This is a different game. I mean,
but here's the thing. I've seen now. Is this me watching LSU? They're not impressive on offense.
They're not.
They're not. If you make them shoot, they're in trouble.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I
like you said, it's a different game, but I just don't see it.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I'm picking South Carolina anyway. But I'm saying the matchup wise, as far as size, combat that size, LSU. But I mean, it's
South Carolina will make it competitive.
Yeah, because
they can. I just don't see a path of how they win. I just don't see a path. Man, South Carolina is. I mean,
LSU.
They got everything.
Yeah.
They got everything.
Yeah.
They have everything. What are you looking for? Guard play? They got that. What are you looking for? Now, shout out to my women's bracket. My women's bracket is fire. I'm at 95% of that. I got 3 of the 4 Final Four teams, so I'm doing good. But I just don't see a path, man, for anybody. But I'll tell you this: there is a part of me that kind of believes in Caitlin Clark. I'll be honest. She will be the best player on the court Friday night.
If she can get another triple-double, that would be impressive. If she can get another
now let me say this. If she can play a similar game to what she played against Louisville and get the triple-double, and she's got double-digit assists and they're high, that game is a lot closer than I thought it would be at that point.
Exactly.
Yeah. I don't think it's a win, but it'll be closer than what we thought.
Well, and we thought the Maryland game was going to be a little bit more. They played a little bit closer than we thought with South Carolina.
They did. They were somewhat impressed. Now on the men's side, I gotta be honest with you. I have no gauge.
Flip it up.
Because everybody has a flaw.
Right.
And I'm gonna tell you something. And I like your UConn prediction. I do like that. But my problem with it is, man, San Diego State is huge. Yeah. And every time you think, I didn't think they matched up well against who they put out the tournament.
Right. Talking about San Diego
was it Alabama or who was it? Who they put out?
Who? San Diego State?
Yeah.
Oh, I can let you know.
Oh, Houston. Well, I got to get my.
Alabama, I believe. I think it's Alabama.
I didn't think they matched up well with them on paper. Like on paper, that looked like a terrible matchup. Because I'm saying, man, Alabama can guard. It was Alabama. I say they can guard, and they can guard 1 through 10. So San Diego State don't shoot like that. Man, they shot like that. That little Peck dude went off. Like he went completely off. And so San Diego State to me is playing with house money. And I think they're gonna beat FAU. And they can't be.
Is it me? You watch FAU and like, how are y'all still in it?
I'm gonna stay out of here. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Am I the only one to look at them like?
No, I feel the same way.
The chips fell where they need to fall. I mean, they were close. They were close to losing. So I mean, the chips fell where they were supposed to fall at that point. But
listen. Other people took care of the heavy work, the heavy lifting. FAU took care of. Fairleigh Dickinson took care of Purdue, and here they are.
Right.
I think the champion. Out. I think the champion is going to come out of Miami or UConn. I think that's who the champion is going to be.
See, that's too easy.
Too easy.
Because I think I feel like San Diego State is tougher than we think they are.
Oh, I agree.
I think they're tougher than we think they are, man. And
the reason why I picked UConn is because I just love their discipline.
They're very disciplined.
They're very disciplined, and if they stay disciplined, so like Arkansas was a great pressure defense, and they made them look silly. Yeah. Then you think Gonzaga was gonna give them a shot, and they just. And if that kid from what's the kid from UConn is shooting it like he keeps shooting it. I mean, yeah. I just feel like I'm gonna be honest with you. I just like the way UConn is coached right now. No
question. Yeah. Shout out to Coach Hurley, man, who comes from a legacy of great basketball coaches. So listen, I don't know if any coach is gonna have their team more prepared than UConn.
Right.
But I will say this, man. I love the experience of Miami. I love it. I've watched Miami for 3 years. I've watched them up close for 3 years. I know Isaiah Wong has been there for like 11, and their backcourt is not going to be intimidated by UConn's backcourt at all.
I just want y'all to listen to this with UConn. UConn first game against Iona, 87-60. Remember I said team is hot and they get hot at the right time?
Yeah.
87-63. Then they played St. Mary's, 70-55.
Mm-hmm.
Then they beat Arkansas 88-65, and then they beat Timmy them Gonzaga 82-54.
And let me say this. I watched that game as well, and we're talking about a Gonzaga team that you thought was coming in, and it looked like okay, they are playing some solid basketball. They beat UCLA in another classic. They look good, and they beat Gonzaga. Like they was a 15 seed.
I mean, I'm just saying at the time where is there a hotter team? Because the reason why I say if you look at the other teams, and I'm not saying this means anything now. Don't get me wrong. This doesn't mean this is just me looking at this. These other teams like FAU, they squeaked in with a call or two. And Miami, they squeaked in. All these teams could have a play or two
easily been out. Yeah,
been out. I'm saying UConn because they have no one has came within 15 points of these dudes the whole tournament.
Yeah.
They're playing.
They could be the best team in the tournament. You might be right, Reggie.
They're playing like the South Carolina of the women's tournament right now. Now, any team can be beaten. This is just my opinion. This is not stating I could be wrong. Let me go on. I could be wrong. I'm just looking at the numbers right now.
Yeah. I think your championship game is going to be UConn versus San Diego State.
Right.
And Reggie, you might have convinced me. You might have convinced me.
I could be wrong now.
You could be dead wrong, Reggie. Let's be clear. You could be absolutely wrong.
Right.
But I will say this. San Diego State's path to winning a national championship is to ugly the game up like they have been doing.
Right.
If they can ugly these games up, and see, UConn has not had that yet. Arkansas tried it, but Arkansas, I think, was too young in all the wrong places.
Right.
Whereas San Diego State is not. They got veteran guards. They got transfer guys. Right. They're not going to be intimidated by the moment at all. So if they can ugly the game up and make it physical, and the referees don't, they swallow the whistles a little bit, like they have done for San Diego State games.
But it can work the other side. Can San Diego State stay disciplined? Can they get through those screens? Can they do the things that they need to do to stay with them because that is a very organized offense.
Because that's what you got to do to beat.
You got to make it ugly. I agree with you, Lloyd. You got to make it ugly.
Yeah. You know what, go ahead, Chad.
No, I was just saying if it's low scoring, they do have a shot because like Reggie was saying, those scores were pretty high. So if you make it low scoring and
very true, Chad.
Yeah,
San Diego State ain't trying to run with UConn.
Exactly.
They can't win that game. Right. But if they can control the clock, put pressure on UConn, make them play deep into the shot clock each possession, value each possession at a high level, they got a shot. But I think I'm going to go – Reggie, I think I'm going to go with the sure thing. I think I'm going to go – not sure thing, but the numbers. The numbers, I'm going to go with the numbers and say UConn gets it.
Yeah,
now watch UConn get beat by Miami.
Right, exactly. That's why I said, hey, don't ride with me. I'm just telling you what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's why I said either one of those teams, I think they were going to come out with it. Either one of those teams. So we'll see.
All right, let's play a little bit of NBA Answer the Question right now. With 8 to 10 games left in the season, we got some questions we need to answer, gentlemen, and I think we are qualified to do just that. So let me pull up our ESPN. We're going to go to ESPN, let them be the host for this. And we'll look at some standings and see where we are and who is the best teams in the West right now, the East and the West right now. When you pull it up, let me get production to pull it up real quick here. There we go. All right. Who is the best in the East and the West? Is it Milwaukee and everybody's chasing the Bucks?
I mean, right now I think it's Milwaukee, and because they just been steady and they got been having little streaks here and there, and but I also want to look at Cleveland. They're 7-3 in the last
words out of my mouth.
7-3 in the last 10 games, and so that I think they're going to make a run. That seeding they would go against New York in the first round. So I think they can get past them. But those two, Milwaukee and Cleveland, been pretty steady.
Rich,
we're
just in the East right now.
That first four is what it is. I think the numbers are telling. Sometimes numbers can misconstrue some things and cover, but I think the top four teams are showing right there in the East. I believe I'm gonna go with, like you said, if Milwaukee stays healthy, and Boston, they've been kind of skittish lately, if I can say. They
have been.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you just don't know, but if they can get it together, in Philly, it's Philly's being Philly. So in Cleveland, so back to what I'm saying, the front four is my prediction. You said the top teams; those top four are my top four.
Philly's losing right now against the Mavericks at halftime. So
go ahead, Reggie.
No, I said Mavericks is in desperation right now. They're going to give it 100%.
Yeah. Would you say that without question the Bucks are the best team in the East?
I would say right now, yes, they are.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I love the Bucks. I think they have the best continuity. But I'm gonna tell you, to me, everybody needs to start paying attention to Cleveland. Maybe not this year, but as they get more comfortable with each other and trust each other, that's a team to me that going forward, they're gonna be hard to deal with. They're gonna be hard to deal with, and don't let them stumble into one more player to help Donovan Mitchell out just a little bit.
Who would be that player? Who would be that player that you would want?
You know what? That's a great question. I don't know. I got plenty of time to answer that question because NBA free agency. but I think they're one player away from being the best team in the Eastern Conference.
Right. Yeah.
I think they do everything that you want a championship team to do. They just don't have that one other player to take the pressure off of Donovan Mitchell yet. Or Darius Garland may get there. He may get there. Or those guys may get there. But right now they're not there. Yeah. You know who I would love to see there? I tell you who I would love to see there. Now this is a shocker of the night, baby. I'd love to see Jaylen Brown there.
Well, it could be a possibility.
Jaylen Brown and Donovan Mitchell, to me,
It could be a possibility.
would be my favorites for the Eastern Conference.
Because I don't think he's too sold necessarily on going back to Boston.
I think something's going to go down with that Jaylen Brown. They've all but tried to run him out of town anyway.
Right, and then if they don't win it this year, they're probably going to try to blow it up a little bit.
They're going to probably try to blow it up.
Cleveland.
All right, what about in the Western Conference, which is just bananas right now, fellas? What are y'all thinking about that?
I say Denver and everybody else.
Is Denver the best team in the conference?
I think they, to me,
record-wise, sure they are.
To me, they are. But it's so hard to get a gauge on the West because you have so many injuries right now.
Yeah.
You have so many injuries right now. So the best team who's healthy right now will be Denver. But we can go down the line. Let's start with Memphis just getting job back. Sacramento, they're still young and they're still trying to get into it. But let's go to Phoenix. Phoenix is just getting Durant back. Clippers still don't have Paul George back. Golden State does not have Andrew Wiggins back, and we don't know. They don't know if they ever get Andrew Wiggins back.
Sounds like he may be back here soon. I just heard a report last night that it's looking like whatever has happened is kind of.
He's working out. He's in the midst of working out. So
yeah.
So and then let's go. Anthony Towns just got back. New Orleans still missing Zion. Lakers just got LeBron back.
Right.
Oklahoma City, I'm just scared of them. If I don't want to play them first round, if I got a play-in game, I'd rather play them than Sacramento before I want to play Oklahoma because, Lord, like we said before, they're young and they don't know any better. And they're the worst team you want to play in.
Yeah.
I agree with everything you've said, Reggie. The only thing about the top three in the West, the irony of the top three in the West is that that's not the strongest three teams.
Right.
As far as playoffs are concerned.
Right.
As far as regular season, they are. But as far as playoff is concerned, I don't know if I trust any of those teams.
Yeah.
I trust the next three, with the exception of the Clippers, because they just never have done it. And then I don't know where the Lakers are going to land. Boy, if the Lakers could have made these trades back in December or January.
Man, I told Rob. He didn't want to listen to me. I told him.
You did tell him. You told him. You actually told him before the season started, Reggie.
Yeah, I did.
And he wouldn't return your call. And then by the time he returned it, it answered it. It did what you told him to do.
He gave me his beeper number. He just gave me a beeper.
Right. Why would you do that? I don't understand why Rob would do that. But it's gonna be interesting to see. And let's just call it. And let's just say this: Golden State start to look like Golden State again.
Right.
Yeah.
And then
Golden State again.
Can I say this?
Yeah.
The reason why I say Denver right now, we haven't seen a healthy Denver team in the playoffs in 3 or 4 years.
We have not.
You may not still see a healthy Denver team in the playoffs.
What's going on? Who's out?
I'm just saying you may not see a healthy.
But what I'm saying, right
now, yes.
Health is the number one reason why any team is going to win.
Right.
It is for sure. And everybody's got to try to figure out how to stay healthy. And if I'm Denver, then I'm just going to say this. I got nothing else to play for because I'm 1 or 2, no matter what.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm playing Jokic to the end.
Right.
They'll be smart.
Jokic ain't the one that I'm worried about.
I don't know if I'm playing Murray to the end.
Yeah.
Murray.
I don't know if I need to drive my guys hard to get to the finish line.
We're already the one that I'm worried about. What is his name? Oh, the one that's been hurt his whole career.
Porter Jr.
Porter Jr.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying, Reggie. I don't know if I'm playing any of my guys hard. I don't have to. We're there. Listen, in order to catch us, you got to win 6 games.
Right.
Yeah.
Are you going to win 6 games? Probably not.
8 games? No.
Yeah.
Right.
No.
Right. So I'm probably going to rest my guys. So
Denver being number one doesn't really scare me. I mean, I think they're 50-50. They can get hot. Or
The top three teams. Let's be honest. The top three teams don't scare you.
Yeah.
No.
And if you're Golden State, you are absolutely trying to somehow figure out a way where you can stay in that sixth spot. Because you know why? Sacramento is only about an hour and a half away from where you live.
Yeah.
So let's be honest.
In your own bed during that tournament.
There's not a team in the West that plays each other is going to be scared this year.
There's nobody. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So I don't know, man. I think
I take that back. There's only one team I told y'all to be scared of. If I'm in the play-in game, it's one team I'm scared of.
Oh, it's just the Thunder. Because in a one-game scenario,
I'm scared.
They absolutely beat you.
Shaq could put up 50 in one game for sure.
Yeah. So I guess that brings us up to the next question here. The top 6 teams. What are the legit top 6 teams? Let me ask this question. Because KD comes back tonight. Can they realistically put this together with only 8 games left to make a real championship run? Like, for real?
Based off talent, yes. But, I mean, just
you're saying based off of what talent?
Just KD being a bucket, Devin Booker being a bucket.
That's where everybody's making their mistake in the assessment. Based off of offensive talent, can they score? Of course.
Yeah, but they don't have a
win in the playoffs,
and they don't have a bench.
Well, and you don't win in the playoffs. You're not. First of all them shots that they got in those 3 games that KD did play,
right?
You're not getting them shots like that in a playoff game.
Yeah,
the court shrinks, man.
Yeah.
And now you're getting the best of everybody's play, the best defensive player, the best defensive schemes. I listen, and if they have to play the Clippers, and Paul George somehow gets healthy, that's not an easy win.
Yeah, you're right.
I feel like the healthiest and the deepest bench is going to be the one that's coming up.
Yeah, we agree with that. I'm just saying, to me, the top 6 teams. I struggle with putting the Clippers into that top 6.
So who?
Because I don't think they're going to be healthy.
Who would you replace at the top?
I'd put the Lakers. Legitimately put the Lakers. Fan them aside. I'd put the Lakers. Because I don't think anybody. I think they're playing some of the most consistent basketball of all these teams. Nobody. Go back and look at the games they've won and lost. Nobody's blowing them out.
Yeah, I think they could jump Minnesota and jump New Orleans. I agree with you on that.
Well, listen, if they get to 7 or 8, good luck Denver, good luck Memphis in a 7-game series. Good luck. Because that's a tall task.
I don't think they want to play Denver. I think they'd rather play Memphis than Denver.
They would rather play Memphis. If they're going to gun for the 7, because I think the 7 is a better matchup overall.
Right.
But they're not going to be intimidated by it.
Nobody, like I said, nobody's intimidated by nobody. But matchup wise, I think they'll be better off playing against Denver than Memphis. I mean, against Memphis.
I'm gonna tell you why they more so than playing Denver or Memphis. Why they want the 7, because the 7 makes you have to play. You don't have to play Phoenix if Phoenix makes it that far.
Right.
You don't have to play Phoenix to the Western Conference Finals. Now the problem with this, or Golden State, I believe, I think you'd avoid Golden State and you'd avoid Phoenix.
Right.
If I'm not mistaken, right? 1-8, 2-7, 3-6, 4-5, 3-6, 4-5 play each other, right?
Yeah. I can't confirm that.
So how's the play in?
Because 4 would play 1, and the 4 seed, if they won their 4-5 matchup, they would play the 1 seed. The 3 seed, the 3-6 seed would play the 2. Oh, they would have to play. They would have to play Golden State in the second round. So that might not be the path.
I mean, I don't know.
There's no easy path.
No, for anybody.
There's no easy path. But I would think they would. I agree with you, Reggie. I think they want Memphis more so than they want.
Right.
Okay, so that's the top 6 of the West. Let's go back to the East. First of all, shout out to Brooklyn.
Yeah,
that they're even relevant still.
I told y'all. I said that. I told you they were going to be them. They just got a bunch of role players that play hard.
Facts.
They're right there, man. They are right there. Do you think Atlanta and Miami State? Miami probably stays in. They probably got the 7th or 6th spot.
Yeah, I think they stay at 7.
Does Toronto get in? Well, that's another question.
Who's playing hard right now is Chicago is playing hard right now. They're playing hard. So
Pat Bev should have got there back in January too.
Yeah,
right. And they'd be further up the list.
Yeah, I think Toronto will be the missing party. I think.
Oh, you said well. So let me go ahead and pull that question up now too, because that's the C question.
I'm sorry, I'm jumping.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Because we're kind of there anyway.
Yeah.
Who's out?
I think
in the East,
with the way Chicago is playing and they playing hot at the right time, I think if 9 and 10 play each other, I think Toronto will get bounced out.
Yeah, I think Toronto's going to get bounced out because I'm looking because I'm looking at Chicago. Let me look at Chicago's schedule.
Is Chicago the Oklahoma Thunder of the East?
Hey,
it could be. It could be.
Chicago needs to win. Both teams needs to win. Woo, boy, Chicago got a schedule.
They could be.
So they really need to win this game tonight. If they don't, they're going to be in trouble because they play Charlotte. But then after that, they got Memphis, Atlanta, Milwaukee, Dallas, and Detroit.
That's a tough stretch. That's a tough stretch. Right now,
if Chicago doesn't win tonight, in which I don't think they will because both teams are needing to win, I think Chicago is going to get out, be bounced out. Yeah,
right now it's halftime. The Lakers are up 59-51.
Right.
So it's a good game.
Hey, gents, did you get my message?
Gotcha.
I did not.
Gotcha. I saw it.
You saw it? Okay. If it's the message, I think. Oh, okay, gotcha. All right, so interesting part right there. Yeah, I think I'm gonna tell you in the East, I think Toronto's out. In the West, I'm gonna tell you, y'all gonna be shocked when I say this. I think Dallas is out.
I'm not.
I think Dallas is out.
I'm not shocked either.
I think Dallas is out. I think Oklahoma City is what you said they are, and they're too stupid to know they're not even supposed to be in the playoffs.
Right.
And that's what you want. I think Dallas is gonna be on the outside looking in.
Right. I think so too.
So, all right, last one. The NFL stuff. We'll go through it quick. You gotta go. Okay.
Yep.
All right. We'll talk to Reggie later. Me and Chad will run through this NFL stuff quickly. Lamar Jackson, who will he be playing for in 2023? Reggie, you missed out on the best part of what I was going to say. And I think Lamar Jackson is going to be playing for, wait for it, the Indianapolis Colts. I think the Colts can solve all of their problems in one draft for the next 5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
And I think he would love it there. And I think it allows them to go get everything else they need in the draft and in the free agency. I think it's the Colts. I'm leaning in on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, the Colts will be good because they have a lot to offer. They can offer draft picks. Okay. I mean, I would have said Miami, but now that I'm thinking about it, that draft pick is pretty valuable.
Yep.
So Yeah, I mean, I like Indiana. I like Indiana because that was a top 5 pick, and they have pieces.
Yeah.
They have running back, wide receivers. They have a defense. I mean, it makes the most sense. But if you can't get him, you can get somebody.
Well, Indianapolis sits in a great spot. And see, here's the thing. If they give up this year's pick, that's why it makes the most sense because they're in position to get a franchise quarterback this year.
Mm-hmm.
But they can also go get Lamar and go get the sure thing this year.
Yeah.
And then that leaves Baltimore with opportunity to go get the franchise quarterback. Everybody wins.
Yeah.
So that's my pick on it. I think it's the Indianapolis Colts. That's my pick on that one.
Yeah.
I
say, yeah, I have to agree. I have to think
he's back.
Yeah. Hey, my wife said, "Go get back on." So
okay,
that was great. Oh, shout out to the lovely Tiger Love.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Well, you just missed my hot take on the NFL. I said Lamar Jackson will be playing for the Indianapolis Colts.
So we're going to give up 2 first-rounders, but
why not? Why not give up this one? It's not a sure thing anyway, right?
Right, and I would love that, but the problem is, are we going to pay him the type of money he wants to be paid?
But see, that's just it. We don't really know what he wants to be paid. Everybody keeps saying it, but we really don't know. But let me ask this question. If you can get him 3 years, let's say they do 4 years. Let's say they do 4 years, 160. That's $40 million a year. That's basically what Daniel Jones is getting. And it's all guaranteed.
Oh yeah, he's sold. We got him.
That's actually a bargain because by the time you come back around to pay him again, the market's gonna be out of control because Joe Burrow's gonna get his money.
James that's what I'm saying. So if we can afford him, I would love him because our offensive coordinator was Philly's offense, and that we'll design that offense around him. So
I think it makes the most sense because that's a team that can give Baltimore the value that they're looking for right now.
Right.
And Baltimore can go get their franchise quarterback this draft.
Harbaugh say he ain't going nowhere.
Listen, he might be right. I just don't know how you listen. They can't keep him without marriage counseling.
Oh, they're gonna need more than marriage counseling. They're gonna need the pastor and the pastor's wife and communion and everything else going on.
I'm just saying. Where you say he's staying, Reggie?
I think I don't know.
Well, he's not going to New England, as they say.
I
don't know if that's not true. I don't know if that's true.
Did you hear about the 3-team trade?
No, I haven't heard that. What's that?
There's a rumor with the 3-team trade with New England, Baltimore, and somebody else. And it was send Matt Jones to the other team. And
I'm gonna just say this. The way Bill Belichick answered that question the other day at the players meeting or the owners meeting lets me think he's sick of hearing about what he can't do.
Right.
And if he could, and if Lamar legit don't mind going to New England to play,
I just don't think. See, I love Bill Belichick. I just don't like his coordinators, and I don't think that's the best. That will be best for Lamar.
Let me be very clear. If they get Lamar Jackson, they'll go get him the right way.
They had 3 of them, 2 of them last year.
They don't do that. They ain't doing that.
They ain't gonna do that with Lamar Jackson. They gonna fire both them cats, and they both gonna be looking for a job.
Right.
They go get. Yeah,
I do agree with you. Best fit will be staying in Baltimore or going to Indy. I think Indy's
the best fit. Yeah,
the best fit for him.
All right. The next question was the true or false. The Jets will represent the AFC in the Super Bowl. True or false?
False.
I think it's false too. I think the Jets are monopolizing our TV sets right now and our time for no reason.
Yeah.
I just don't believe they're good. They're going to be way better. Let's be clear. They're going to be way better with Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
And they may pull off an OBJ thing. They may pull that off, although that seems very in flux right now. It looks like it's wide open to whoever wants to basically pay it.
And really, Aaron, come on. If y'all think Aaron's sensitive now. Wait till he gets to New York.
Oh my God!
Yeah, they're gonna rip him. They're gonna definitely rip him.
And we're not. New York ain't impressed by anything you've done.
Right.
They're not impressed by your all shucks attitude, bruh. They're impressed by winning. You have to have a different mentality to play in New York.
Right, because now you're still thinking about Miami is still strong.
Buffalo
is still strong.
Cincinnati,
Baltimore. Kansas. You never know what's going to happen in the AFC South since they were the worst conference the last year. They may turn it around. So I just don't see it.
Well, okay. If Indy pulls off the Lamar Jackson like we just talked about,
right.
So now you got Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Allen,
and
Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson. Y'all, folk, listen. I'm not trying to give a hot take. I'm just calling it like I see it. He's probably the 6th or 7th best quarterback in that division. He's or his team is the 6th or 7th best team.
It's what I don't understand. I know that, man. Green Bay has some young receivers that were starting to come into their own.
Yeah, but they're sick of him, bro. They're
just sick of him. Yeah,
they're sick of him. Let me tell you what this whole thing with Aaron Rodgers is in Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay is a marriage that's been over for quite some time. You've cheated on us. We've taken you back. You've talked about us in the public on TV. We've taken you back. We just keep forgiving you. We're sick of you now. Finally, the girl woke up and burned all his clothes in the Mercedes. And she's like, I'm sick of you. Just go on.
Right.
Just go on. I don't care where you go. Just go somewhere.
Yeah.
She's tired, man. I get it. All right. The Carolina Panthers will take in the draft, but the Carolina Panthers should take in the draft. They're probably going to take CJ Stroud.
Yeah, they're going to take Stroud.
They should take Anthony Richards.
Yeah, I thought they was going. I thought they were going to take Bryce Young, and then they probably should take.
I think he's going to slip in. He's going to slip the Indy watch.
Oh my God! If he does, y'all set, bro.
He's going to slip. I'm telling you, he's going to slip the Indy.
Let me be very clear. About what I'm about to say. I want to be very clear. In my humble opinion, he's the best quarterback in the draft. And I love CJ. I love Bryce. I'm not saying he's the smartest. I'm saying talent-wise, he is the best talent in the draft. And I don't think it's close.
And here's the thing. He might not even play this year. He might. I mean,
but see, Reggie, I think you can play him this year if you shrink the playbook down.
Right.
And because to me, now this is going to sound like blasphemy. I know it is. I apologize in advance. He's Lamar 2.0.
Yeah.
Bigger, faster, or as fast and stronger.
Right. Well, the reason, that is true. What I'm just saying, they drafted Minshew. I mean, they got Minshew for a reason. If he's not ready.
They did, but I'm gonna tell you something. He is a matchup nightmare. And I just don't know if I could resist taking that kid.
I would take him and either develop him or go ahead and just let him rip.
I'd put him out there, and I'd keep it simple because I got the best running back in the game, or at least a top 3 running back. Right. I got one of the best offensive lines in the game. Right. So why not go ahead? You don't have an answer for this big 6'5", 230-pound dude that can run a 4.3 running at you at full speed. You ain't got that defensive scheme.
Right.
Yeah. So all I need to do is throw 15 times a game. That's it.
Right. And we're gonna sign Zeke for a backup running back.
I would do that. You know what? I would do that if I was Indy. I'm telling you.
That's fine. I mean, hey, he need a job.
Joking, but that sounds like a smart plan. Which, by the way, we're gonna get to that in a minute. But I think they should sign in, but they're gonna sign CJ Stroud because they want the true plug and play guy, which I understand. I get that.
That's why I think Anthony's gonna slip the 3, that third quarterback.
If y'all get him, bro. If y'all get him, I think y'all set, bro. Y'all ready to go.
Yeah, I said Bryce Young. I said Bryce Young, and then they should get C.J. Stroud. I've been hearing that they like Bryce Young. So
listen. I love Bryce. I think Bryce had one of the greatest college careers you could ever have. He probably made the most money that's ever been made in college football history legally. I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. And he's not bratty like Kyler. He's not bratty like that. So I like that he's not bratty. Having said all of that, I would be concerned about that 5'10", bro. That 5'9", 5'10". I'd be concerned about that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, man. It ain't your fault. But I'm concerned. I'm concerned, man. I'm concerned. So anyway, all right. Last couple of questions. The carousel is in full motion with the NFL. We still in NFL stuff. Where's Marcus Peters gonna play? Can I tell y'all where I think he's gonna play? Right off top.
Right.
For one reason and one reason only. He's going to the New York Giants on a favorable deal because of Wink Martindale. Only reason. That's his guy.
Yeah.
Plug and play. He knows the system.
He'll be smart.
Yeah, plug and play. But that's my thought on him on there. What y'all think? Marcus Peters.
I'm saying with you. I agree. I was thinking.
Okay.
Yeah, system. Yeah.
Don't understand why they're not paying this man, but Frank Clark.
I mean, we giving out money. We're giving out some money. He can come to Dallas. But
I think Frank's going to end up in
as long as it's not Philadelphia.
I don't want him in our division, period.
Yeah,
Let's on my squad.
Yeah, as long as it's not
because
Philadelphia.
I know he got something left to take. He may go to the Rams on a favorable deal. They got to replace a lot of people.
Facts.
Hey, Seattle's trying to get everybody and their mama, so it wouldn't be surprised Seattle.
That wouldn't. You're right. That's a great landing spot.
They just signed Wagner back. Did you see that?
Whoever
got Wagner back, yeah.
Whoever got the most cap space. Yeah.
You sold me on this one, Reggie. You sold me on Zeke. I think he's going to Indianapolis. He's not going to Philly. I know he wants to go to Philly. They're not doing that.
He might go. Hey, what about New York? The Giants.
I wouldn't hate it because that gives us a stronger goal line person.
Right. I mean, he's a great.
He's a great blocker. Yeah.
Indianapolis or Cincinnati.
I like it.
That Cincinnati thing is really that's interesting.
Jerry Bowler needs somebody to block for him.
And that's really what it all comes down to with Zeke at this point in his career.
Yeah, because they lost. They lost. What's his name? Went to Denver from Cincinnati.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's not a bad call. DeAndre.
He's gonna be back in Arizona.
Does he want to be back in Arizona though? I heard Jonathan Gannon say today he wants him back. But does he want to be back is the question.
The problem is, I think DeAndre should have played that quietly. He's been running this too much. You know, sometimes it just you let your agent do the talking in the background.
Yeah.
Man, you know where I want him to be.
Y'all already signed what's his name?
Y'all got Brandon. Y'all out.
Y'all out.
Hey, we could ship Michael Gallup off somewhere.
It's over, bro. Ain't nobody gonna take Gallup for DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah.
You know that. Now listen, let's be real now.
Oh man,
DeAndre gonna want that money, and Gallup is a little cheaper right now for you.
Yeah,
I wouldn't mind us having him, but I don't want to pay the cost.
Right, but he's still under contract with Arizona, right?
He is.
Yeah, he's gonna be in Arizona.
I don't know. I don't necessarily want to pay the cost. It's the same thing with the last two guys, DeAndre and OBJ. Like if we can get the number right for OBJ, it makes sense for him to be with the Giants. But it's the number. It's the number.
Rams
asking for so much money though. OBJ.
Well, but see, that's just it. Again, this is one of those situations we don't know. Some people are saying he's asking for 20, which he came out and refuted, and other people are saying it's more like 10 to 15.
Right.
Your boy just got 13.
Who's that?
who was it that just got 13? I can't remember who it was. It was a receiver just got 13.
But the problem is,
you know what I'm talking about, right?
I'm trying to Chart. Was it Chart?
Chart. DJ Chart got 13.
But the problem is with OBJ is he's a 32-year-old receiver who's had an Achilles and 2 ACLs.
That's it, brother. Mm-hmm. I think he's going to end up having to do a 1 or 2 year deal.
But with all that said, is he still better than DJ Chart?
Oh, for sure, without question.
So he's in that ball.
Without question.
Well, it depends on. But DJ hasn't had the injuries that he's had. DJ's going to stay on the field.
Well,
man, but
also true, Reggie.
Yeah.
I mean, no offense, but man, 2 ACLs and Achilles. I mean, I gotta give him credit.
What would you pay him? What would you pay him?
Huh?
What would you pay him?
I don't know, man.
I'm going 1 year, 10 mil at least.
I'll go with Chad.
That's in the ballpark.
And then if he stays healthy,
right?
We can look at it.
I mean, now let me give OBJ some credit. That kid got heart coming back from all that, brother. I would have hung it up. I'm like, all right, man. I done got my money. Let me call it a day,
bro. You got your money in your ring.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's a lot of money to pay a guy. I don't want us to blow the budget on him, but I would love to have him back.
Right.
But it's got to be for the right price.
Man, y'all going to draft some young receivers. Y'all, man, no, I don't think. My opinion, no offense to the Giants. I know the name sounds well, man. If y'all don't get them young, hey, y'all like the Lakers. Like I told the Lakers, you better go get them young ones and go to work.
Listen, there's some steals in this draft too, man. There's some steals in this draft. The owner loves him. And I think the owner feels a sense of, John Mara feels a sense of guilt because of the way that he, Daniel, and Saquon all had to go through that Gettleman bull.
Right.
And I think he feels a sense of guilt towards them, and that's why you're seeing a lot of chatter.
Is there a path for OBJ back to Cleveland?
No. He don't want to go back to Cleveland.
Man,
and I wouldn't want to go back to Cleveland if I was him.
Here's what you do.
Baker's not there anymore. So.
Here's what you do. If
Cleveland is still there though.
If that diva goes to the Jets, send OBJ with him. So y'all have the best New York news.
They had a conversation.
But I hate to destroy them little young guys like they.
But I was gonna say, to me, the Jets are overthinking it. They're way overthinking it. Aaron Rodgers, if I get you to my squad, you're gonna play with who we have.
Right.
I got guess what I got on my squad. I got the rookie of the year wide receiver. Mm-hmm. I got a running back who would have been rookie of the year had he not gotten hurt, and his backup is just as good as he is.
Right.
We got enough here now. You just need to come here and make the investment and play with my guys.
Right.
I don't need to be trying to go out and get a bunch of guys who are old, way past their prime. Well, I want to set the culture of the locker room. Then get involved and set the culture of the locker room.
Right.
Yeah. I'm not going to meet all these ridiculous demands. Guess what? It ain't like you going back to Green Bay.
Mm-hmm. You just might be retired.
Right. You got two options: come play for us or retire.
Right.
So I'm not going to do that. So I don't know, man. I think I'm with you, Reggie. I think I would not sign him. And anybody else is signing him, they just got to get the number right. I don't know where that is. But I know our owner came out loudly and said, I'd love to have him back. I was like, why are you doing that? Like, I don't understand. You just cost yourself another $2 million. So
right, exactly.
I got him at 7. Now you at 9. Like,
exactly.
You're already at 9 already. So
right.
I don't know. Anyway, listen, a fascinating couple of weeks, guys. This next week is going to be so exciting. With the NCAA, with the NBA rounding out the playoffs, the last few games are coming up this week. Who knows how this is all going to turn out? Man, it's going to be fun to watch, though. Quick shout-outs, gentlemen. What we doing?
I'll go ahead and go first. First one, shout out to Coach Bacon of the DeSoto boys basketball team.
Oh wow!
who coached the McDonald's All-American game last night.
Oh, that's what's up.
So that was pretty good for the city. Also, want to shout out UNT, University of North Texas, who's in the NIT final.
Right. I saw that.
That's tonight, right?
I'm not sure. It may be.
That's tonight or tomorrow. I don't remember when it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, semifinals was last night, so
Okay, so it's tomorrow. Then. It's
Yeah.
tomorrow. Yeah. Wow.
And then congratulate Dirk and all the Hall of Fame inductees. That's a big honor. So definitely congratulate them, and man, shout you guys out always. Definitely not holding it down and miss this. So definitely shout you guys out.
Absolutely. Reg, what you doing, brother?
man, shout out to the NCAA tournament. Just give them a shout out to it because there's no ones, no twos, no threes. It's just and man, I love it. I think this is great, man. This is you love basketball and you love the little teams coming up, and you see and the unknown is happening. So this is great, man. It's a great time of year anyway. You got it's just really March Madness is just my personal. I love March Madness. I'm about 5 more days from me crying from one shiny moment.
Hilarious.
And just shout out, of course, shout out to you guys, man. I know we always keep that text going and see what's going on. And hey, man, it's just a great time of year.
Also, baseball starts tomorrow, guys.
It does. Opening season tomorrow, man. Rangers just make it competitive is all I ask.
Shout out to the Texas relays going up. My daughter, she's going down there in one of the high school races. So hey,
nice.
Yeah. So McKinney High will be representing in the Texas relays this weekend.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Well, my shout out is to first and foremost to the new basketball coach at the University of Texas, the guy they should have gave a job to back in January, February, or December, or whenever. I mean, but they gave him a good deal, 5-year deal, let him build a squad. And I got to believe they're going to be in the top 5 going into next year. He may get a lot of those guys to stay. They got a squad, especially if they stay. So, but shout out to him, man, Coach Terry, for making that a hell of a run this year. Outstanding run. I want to give a shout out, be a homer for a second. I got to give a shout out to Jeff Walls, man. Might be his greatest coaching effort since he's been there. That team was disfractured. Those transfers were not blending well with a team that had just went to the Final Four last year. And somehow, some way, he pulled that thing together and made a nice little Elite 8 run. Now, he ran into a buzzsaw called Caitlin Clark. But shout out to him, man. And then I got to give a shout out to these underdogs, man. FAU and San Diego State and Miami, who shockingly have defied all the odds, defied the seeding, and made an incredible run to the Final Four, man. That's what it's all about. And so, guys, we are set up to have arguably one of the best weekends we've seen in a long time. I know the ratings were not great for the Elite 8 game, and that's fine. To me, get the riffraff out. Let's watch some good basketball.
Oh, yeah.
Now it's about the games, right. And we get a chance to see it. But to me, the highlight game this weekend will be South Carolina, Iowa. I just don't see how that's not must-see TV. If you're a true basketball fan, if you're a true sports fan,
right,
I don't see how you don't watch that game. That's must-see TV. And then of course, shout out to the great people of WWE because this is WrestleMania.
Yes, sir.
When you're a girl dad, you look for any excuse to have testosterone in your life you can. So I'll be
exactly.
Go ahead, Chad. I'm sorry.
No, I was saying, what's the over-under on Caitlin Clark, man? 30?
I think she's going to bust 35, 40 again. I don't think she has a choice. She's got to put up buckets. She has no choice. Because they're gonna guard her one-on-one, and she's going to have to put this team on her back to try to make – I think she's going to have to go for a triple-double, and more specifically in the assist department, a double-double in assists, for them to have any shot. She's going to have to go 40 and 15 to have any shot at all.
I agree.
Yeah.
We might have to go more than that, but I agree.
She may have to go more than that. I agree. But she's going to have to affect every single play, and everybody knows that, which is the problem.
Right.
Everybody knows that. And I just think Don's going to be like, the rest of y'all not beating us.
Yeah.
She might put up numbers, but the rest of y'all ain't going to beat us.
Exactly.
So, should be a fun weekend again, guys. With that being said, shout out to the lovely Miss Tanya Love. Appreciate you for letting Reggie back in the building. And we will see y'all on next week. We'll come back next week and wrap all of this up. I'm sure there'll be a lot to talk about. That's Chad Major. That's Reggie Love. I'm Lloyd Spence. We out. Peace.
I will get you 10 when you're plugging in with the there's no mystery. Let's make history with the 2 and 3. Add 1 more plus me and do the 5. Yeah. Keep it on the floor, and the funk plus 4, and you got 5. I said before, 1 and 9 is 10, and there ain't no span on the 5. There's no denying.